You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know take my sunshine away.
Somebody told me to make a concept record, and I thought it was a terrible idea, but I wanted to make something really honest and truthful, and I thought the concept came to me as Southern family. Everybody's got a story to tell. Everybody's got a story to tell about children, brother, sister, grandparents, and it's one of these real stories from kind of represent the fabric of growing up in the South and their family and all it means to them, and that's kind of the genesis of the idea. I wanted these songs that just cut, and you can feel the soil, you can feel the landscape, and you can feel the personalities and the heart in it. So everybody kind of stepped up and wrote those songs for it.
But some songs are originals and some...
Yeah, there are a couple of covers, but they're songs that mean a lot to them, you know? For instance, You're My Sunshine that we're doing today, I mean, they pour their heart on it, and that's a song you hear from birth.
I always feel like if you're going to cover a song, you should make it your own and flip it on its head a little bit.
Chris is a master at messing things up. You know, he can take something so recognizable and turn it into something totally different, where it's almost unrecognizable in the best way possible.
You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
That was an awesome take. A lot of people grow up in the church. It's kind of a fabric of Southern society. I think that's where our heritage comes from a lot. It's the church, it's those hymnals, it's those cadences that continue the history of Southern culture.
That's all right, that's all right, that's all right, it'll be all right. Since my soul's got a seat up in that kingdom, that's all right. My mother, how you walking on? Your feet might slip, but your soul ain't wrong. Since my
Growing up in Georgia, Rich Robinson is a hero. The Black Crowes were a massive band and massive to me growing up, so I wanted to have that represented as well. So it was a great marriage between Rich and gospel music, and the Settles connection coming in there singing with him, it was just otherworldly.
it'll be alright, since my soul's got a seat up in that kingdom, that's alright.
It's crazy. It's the old wood. I'm sure a lot of prayers went to that place, a lot of angels and demons in there, and you kind of feel it in space, and I think that was captured that day.
Got a seat up in that kingdom, that's all right.
My kitchen now, but it's still my mama's table.
I cried. Oh, I cried.
gonna die. You're gonna die. And hunger eyes are gonna cry. Done my morning in your arms.
You know, John Paul was one of my favorite singers. And I think after the Civil Wars, he told me that he had a big "Keep Off My Grass" sign in the yard. And I went down there not knowing it, and I knocked on the door and talked to him, convinced him to do it. And he told me later, he's like, you know, people know to stay away, but you didn't listen, and I'm glad you didn't. That's how we got him on the record.
And I loved you, Lord, sung every chorus, this simple song, but I will remember, I will remember.
I thought my grandpa walked on water. I just loved my grandpa. I also didn't realize he had major demons that a lot of that generation did. You know, every time I went to see him, I just thought he was always happy. And he passed away when I was 11. And my grandma didn't cry, or at least I didn't see her cry. And I was devastated. I'd never cried as much before or since. And I asked her why. I said, "Why aren't you crying?" And she said, "Honey," I cried for your grandpa while he was still here on earth. She said, "I ain't gonna cry for him now, he's better off." And it stuck in my head, and honestly, it made me mad at the time, because I had no idea that he was flawed in any way. It took a while for me to wrap my head around what she was saying, but it always kind of stuck in the back of my head to write it, but I never really felt like I was ready to write it until Dave mentioned the project. I thought, man, if I'm ever going to write, this is the time to do it. So, and it fell out pretty fast.
But I will cry for you.
Well, it's one of those magical places. You walk in there, and it's just it's an instrument. You walk in there, and it had a thing, and everybody reacted to it. You can see it in their faces as they're performing. I mean, they're enjoying the space as much as we're enjoying them singing. Just a lot of haunt, a lot of soul, and a lot of character in that place.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
We're gonna do this like this, strip down.
Cool.
It's gonna be awesome.
Awesome. I love our stories.
I'm looking for a lazy stream, and my heart is still, and the air is clean. We're gonna settle down. We're gonna settle down. I had myself a baby girl. She's got her daddy's fine red curls. We're gonna settle down. We're gonna settle down.
Well, she's got a pretty great Southern family, I'd say. You know, her father's one of my favorites, and her grandfather basically, invented modern country music in a lot of ways, So it's a great lineage, and she's got it, in spades. It's so natural for her. Everything is so easy for her. She can kind of walk in a room and light it up in 2 seconds with her voice.
Well, I broke his heart and cut him deep. Thank God he still believes in me. I'm gonna settle down. We're gonna settle down. Sweet bye-bye.
You come on.
Early in the morning before the sun comes up, Wood burning in the stove, coffee stirring in his cup. He's chomping at the bits to get us youngins at the bed. Check the baskets at the creek, get the hogs and chickens fed. By the time we'll get to town, the church crowd will be gone. Granddaddy grins, Sunday sure is a blessing when you're living down home.
I didn't know Brent growing up. Brent and I grew up on the opposite sides of Georgia. I'm from Savannah, he's from Ellaville, Georgia. They're east, southeast, and southwest, so we grew up pretty far apart. But I came home to my grandmother's funeral. I didn't really know him, but his dad came up to me, which is my cousin, and he gave me a CD. He's like, check out my son, he wants to move to Nashville and be a writer. And so he hands me this CD, they burn a CD or whatever. And my wife, we were driving back from the airport to the airport from Columbus. She put it in, and it came on, and I was like, holy because he was only 17. And his songwriting was there already at that point. And then he wound up coming here shortly after,
Yeah.
which I love.
Well, it's Brent's like just the way he plays and his tempos, and it's so unique. I mean, it's so southern. He just is. It like leaks out of his pores, you know.
Down home, heaven's on a road out. Down home, forever never runs out.
His song is interesting because some of the songs are really sad, and I think his song is really happy. It kind of sums up the landscape, and you really feel Georgia in that. You feel it all in his song. It's really joyful representation of growing up in Georgia.
I would probably categorize my stuff as like the anti-Southern goth, because I want to paint it sort of with a brighter picture. You know, my upbringing was great, my family's great, and everybody's good people. It's just, when I think of the South, it's more of a romance. You know, I'm like drawn to the South and my upbringing and my memories, and just immediately inspires me.
Maybe we should extend that in twice, too.
Yeah.
This is our grandfather's. That's my granddaddy, Cobb, and that's his.
Oh my God.
Isn't that crazy?
That's insane.
That is so cool. Right in the middle of
That's chills all my body.
Family shit.
it gave me chills myself. I can't believe y'all found that.
I was really excited to work with Dave. I'm a huge fan of pretty much everything he does, so I was excited to see sort of his style and how it all was put together. And it was so laid back and chill, and it just feels, the way we recorded it feels like the song should feel, you know, laid back, and it has a groove, and
Real spacey, and it just feels like that starry southern sky.
It
just
does.
feels like the lessons that you learn under the starry southern sky, to me.
I think if you're from the South, you're just a little more proud than anybody that's not. So I'm interested to hear the whole project put together and people's interpretation of what their Southern family is to them. Tell the truth, earn your dollar. Let not your heart asunder. Save yourself, believe in faith. Good things come to those who wait. Let your daddy.
Oh, to me, what's great about doing this whole album, and I feel like with this record, is that we're all keeping things sacred, it seems like. And there's a lot of people from the South and from rural America that are making records right now, but they're not keeping what's so sacred about where we're from and that rural America sacred.
Right.
When I heard the song the first time, I mean, it sounded like a classic song. You know what
We
I
were
mean?
talking about, it kind of sounds like something your mom would have sang to you, sang you to sleep, like a lullaby almost. Like.
Yeah. Let's feel it.
Yeah.
Hail to the working man, my son, up there trying to get it done.
Grandma's garden grew up strong.
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, it's better. How are you starting it? Start singing and playing right off the. Yeah, it starts with a conversation. I like it. So it should be a conversation. Whole song should feel like a conversation. Yeah.
I learned from the guy. He's like Yoda. When he talks, he speaks Yoda. He always has the most profound things to say, and he's always right on the head when he tells you a story. And to me, he's a classic Alabama storyteller. You know, he's a poet.
Yeah, I think do about half what you're doing.
Yeah, okay.
Just make it really matter. Keep it really out of the way of the vocals in those verses.
Gotcha.
And that way when it hits that chord, or when it hits that solo, it's going to jump up.
All right, cool. Sounds great. Let me check the tune in.
Hail to the working man, my son, up there trying to get it done. When every horse needs water, and every weed needs sun. Hail to the working man, my friend, he won't clock out till the end.
He is the extension of all the great storytellers, you know. He's got one of the sharpest pens in the world, I think.
When every saint and sinner's race is run.
Well, there's a class to it, you know, and I think a lot of people's perspective of the South is very Dukes of Hazzard, and I still think there's class in that, you know. It's a different kind. I think in the South we've had some really tumultuous things that have put a negative light on it for a lot of people. But I think that's also too like a great spirit. You know, like there's been so much adversity that's been overcome, and you know, I still think there's shortcomings everywhere. You know, but I think, you know, in the South, in Alabama especially, it's like there's a lot to learn from, and a lot of culture and a lot of heritage and a lot of things that if it didn't happen in the South, this country wouldn't be what it was.
I remember growing up, riding shotgun in my daddy's truck. It let me take the wheel every now and then. Now I was learning to be a man.
Getting to think on the subject of like what your family is, and I think there's so many different ways it could go with just that title of, you know, Southern Family. It's like, oh man, there's everything is open game. So it kind of just was like, okay, what is going to be the most impactful thing for me that like I can really be sincere with? It's like, well, my old man's it. I'm gonna give him a little tip of the hat, you know, kind of a thank you note and a recap, if you will.
I think the record's just a great example of where Nashville is right now in music. You know, London had its time in the 60s, LA in the 70s, and we have ours now. And I think that, you know, the record kind of represents the unity of Nashville and the unity of these new artists that all care about each other and support each other, and it's a beautiful thing.
Be a man. So